Hi everybody, welcome to Tutorial Tuesday, and today we're going to work on triangle. So come to mountain pose, always rooting in before we start anything, and hopefully you've warmed up a little bit before you try this. And if you didn't, you can try it and then warm up a little bit and try it again and see how it works for you. So what we're going to do is we're going to separate the feet nice and wide, a little bit wider than shoulder distance. We're going to come into pointing our left toes forward, shoulders over hips. And so hip rotation, let's talk about this for a minute. So a lot of times you're going to get instruction, toes pointing to the side of the mat. You're going to have a 45-degree angle with the mat. It's going to be one or the other way. Play around with this and see what works good for your hips. Not all of our hips and our bone structure are created equal, right? Mine aren't the same as yours, and my muscle tone is different than yours. So just play around with this and see what works for you. I am going to not be quite a 45-degree angle, but not completely pointed at the side of my mat. So shoulders over the hips. We're going to lift up through the belly, okay? Same intention through the belly. When we come into triangle, we want to keep the shoulder that comes towards the earth lifted. We want a long side body here. So it makes us really think about intentionally lifting up through this side. So what happens in class, we see this. We see shoulders in front of your booty, okay? And we're like this. So what we want to try to do, it's really a balanced pose here, and it takes practice, so it's not about coming all the way down. I'm going to grab a block. So I do like block, and you can put a block at your calf in front or behind. You will know if you need one depending on your arm length and your flexibility today, okay? You can use a water bottle, whatever you have that can give you some height, or your shin. Okay, so let's get the hips level. Okay, reach down with the tailbone, rise through the crown of the head, relax the shoulders, reach the hands out. So now we're going to shift that right hip back, but we're still pulling in and the hands are still level. We're going to reach that left hand over the left shin, keeping that left shoulder lifted. Drop the left hand down, take the right hand to the hip first. We're going to adjust the core first. A lot of times we're not adjusting that core. So take your hand to the inner part of your hip and lift it up. And then take your right hand to underneath your belly and rotate the under left side up towards the ceiling. Okay. Now you can slide the hand down to a block. I'm going to bring it in front. And I'm just going to touch my fingertips to it so I have good form here. So I'm not crunching in. We don't want to collapse into that left side body. So you're going to find yourself here. Then when you're rotated, you can reach that hand up. So now it's intentionally reaching up and reaching down. And as you start pushing that hip back, reach the crown of the head forward. Now eye gaze is totally up to you. You're looking at the ground here. As long as you're not dropping through the shoulder, you're keeping that left shoulder lifted, pulling in through the belly, possibly pushing the hips forward and seeing if you can rotate that left lung up towards the ceiling, and maybe you take your eye gaze up to help rotate the core body. Where the eye goes, the body will follow, right? So there's your triangle. Bring it all the way up. Whew. Bring those toes back and take a moment to breathe. It is intentional. It's about pulling the belly up. It's about connecting with that breath and holding it. So let's take the block to the other side. Okay, I always like to leave you equal, and you'll find maybe here that your body may not be as symmetrical as you think because we do different things. So take the right toes to the end of your mat and then adjust your back leg however you need, okay? However you need. You could really work on opening up the hips. But if it is a big crunch in your lower back, that's an indication that you maybe need to bring the toes in just a little bit. Shoulders over hips, lift up through the belly, drop the shoulders, reach intentionally through the hands. So now we're going to shift that left hip over that left heel, reach that right hand forward, and drop that right hand down, left hand to the hip. So we're going to take that right hand down, and we're going to pull in through the belly. So you may just even be here to keep that shoulder up. So we're going to take our hand to the inside of that left hip and pull it up So you're lifting there. Now take your hand to your under right side and rotate that lung up and then extend the hand up. Keep that right shoulder lifted. Take some breaths here. Take your eye gaze wherever you would like. Adjust, bringing the hips forward. Maybe taking your eye gaze up, rotating that right lung up. Pulling through that belly. If you start to feel like you're collapsing, rise up a little bit. Push the hip back. Lengthen through your head. Beautiful. Bring it right back up. Bring those toes in. Let's move the block out of the way. You can step it in, hands out, or have a little bit of fun. Bend those knees. Bring it together. Hands to heart center. Here's your challenge. Try that every day this week and see how confident you get by day 7. All right. Peace be with you. Practice your triangle.